we are pleased to be joined by 2005 Macomb graduate and former Bomb basketball player Will Bartlett, who has found himself, wow, what a career in college basketball. From humble beginnings as a team manager at the University of Missouri, he is now the Director of Player Development at St. John's University as a part of Mike Anderson's squad. And first of all, Will, do you kind of look at the whole architecture of your journey through basketball and kind of picture yourself just how meteoric rise has been for you?
It's been an incredible journey. I'm just really honored, and I'm real fortunate to been surrounded by great people, and my boss Mike Anderson. This will be hopefully if we get to play next season, it will be my 15th season with him, and a variety of roles. And I'll never forget where I come from, Macomb, Illinois. I make sure to remind Coach where that is, and so he's pretty familiar with it as well.
From the standpoint of, you started off as a team manager at Mizzou, and this is blossomed. You always kind of knew basketball was going to be some part of the future of your location. How cool is it for you just to have made that a reality? Because I know you were chasing a dream that's not easy to achieve.
Yeah, definitely. I knew at an early age. My dad was a basketball coach at St. Anthony in Effingham, Illinois. So I grew up, basically in the gym, whether I liked it or not. So I knew from an early age that coaching was something I definitely wanted to do. But when I got into high school, I kind of had to figure out my path and how to get my foot into the door. I knew I wasn't going to be a college basketball player. That would have been nice. It would have made things easy. But I'm proud of the path that I've taken. And so I knew, I had to get creative, and I thought the best way to be involved was to be a student manager and to work my way up through there.
When you start making the association with Coach Anderson, I know at the time you're trying to impress, but you touched on it. You didn't realize at the time when this started, this would be a 15-year relationship through 3 different stops now, from Mizzou to Arkansas and now St. John. First of all, it's a really crazy business, and you've seen that firsthand with the amount of change you've had in a relatively short amount of time in your career.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Coach Anderson accepting the job at St. John's. And so I moved out there May 6th, and then I spent 2 months in a hotel. Our school was very helpful with that transition. But when I moved from Mizzou to Arkansas, it happened so fast, and you're kind of running on adrenaline, and then those first several months, they go by so fast because you're almost playing catch up, and you're trying to help your boss get settled, and then your personal life as well. And I've been lucky to have a wonderful wife who is coming into her own as a wonderful coach's wife.
From your standpoint, every Division I college program in the country has a director of player development. Not a lot of people outside the industry know exactly what that is and what a giant catch-all is for you. Is there a typical day in the life, Will, or is it a whole lot of things on a different cane every single day?
I think the catch-all is the perfect term for it. It varies by the time of the year. When we're in season, one of my main responsibilities is scouting. So I can't stand up and deliver the scout to the team based on NCAA rules, but we do a group effort with the scouts, and so you're reviewing film, and we get to the office in the morning, and then we're managing academics with the players. We're checking in, then we have a staff meeting, and we have a film meeting with the staff, and then usually from there we'll have a film meeting with the team, and so during the day, we're just kind of brainstorming. If it is in season, we're brainstorming on, okay, how do we beat Georgetown? How do we beat Marquette? And so that the focus, during the season that day is the games, but there's all sorts of responsibilities. Like I mentioned, academics. I also have a hand in team travel. I oversee our film and that sort of stuff.
It certainly speaks well of you that Mike Anderson's given you this enormous responsibility a number of different times now. When did you kind of know his relationship with him was special?
So my freshman year, I was a manager for Quinn Snyder, and Coach Snyder was let go in February, and then Coach Anderson got there right after the Final Four. I He was announced right before the Final Four in 2006, and the Final Four was in Indianapolis, and I had no idea how that all worked. But my dad and I were like, we got to go to the Final Four. We got to see if Coach Anderson's going to be there. So I did a stakeout in the lobby at the coaches convention, just hoping to see him. Not that he was interested in seeing me. And I just wanted to introduce myself and, make sure I could still be a manager. I'm sure that was the furthest thing from his mind, but so that was the first time I had met him. And then I noticed right away when he got to campus, when he was dealing with the players and dealing with, everyone in the building and support staff as well, that he's a special guy, and he preaches family, and his saying is relationships and communication. And he talked to the star player just the same as he would talk to a manager like myself. I was a sophomore or freshman at the time in the spring. And he's just been an awesome person to me. And I'm really, really very, very thankful that he's given me a shot, and he kept me on as a manager, and he brought me on as a grad assistant at Mizzou. And then when he took the job at Arkansas, I cried in his arms because I thought that was the last time I would ever see him. I didn't plan on going to Arkansas. I didn't know he would take me. And I actually called him and asked if he would put in a good word for me for some other jobs. And he said, no, hang on, you're going to come to Arkansas. So I need to know right now, are you coming? So I mean, sure, sure, I'll come. So he's just been really great to me, and he's the greatest boss in the world.
From the standpoint when you're breaking down film, when you're watching basketball practices, and I know your dad is super proud of what you've done and what you accomplished, but how much do you hear Dave Bartlett's voice in your head when you're watching film or you're watching a practice session?
Well, it's not always in my head. It's usually he's on the phone with me wanting to hear the scouting report or a game recap. I actually, since I've been a manager, after every game, I make sure to call my dad and my mom as well. And we talk about the game, and we talk about, all the happenings that's going on. He's become the biggest St. John's fan. But it's been really cool. He's been able to come. My mom and dad have both been able to come to a lot of games throughout the last couple of years. And now being in the Big East, we make some trips close to Macomb, relatively close, but yeah, I hear from my dad a lot, and he's been great to have in my corner for sure.
Are you struck by some of the outlier accomplishments, not just of yourself in the particular case, but some of your other, Macomb friends along the way? Because this particular group has done pretty amazing things postgraduate.
I think I saw a tweet. Coach Myers Hendrickson, he's a head coach. Colton Johnson, the Morgenthalers, Chris Tift. I'm forgetting some people.
Davis, obviously, who's gone on to some incredible stuff at Pitt.
Yeah. And I think someone tweeted it's the cradle of coaching. But no, what's unique is we're all very proud of being from Macomb, and I am very fortunate that we had some unbelievable coaches at Macomb High, and there was such a good culture with all the sports, baseball, basketball. There's always been good coaches in Macomb, and it's a community that really embraces sports, and it's important to the community just like it is in Quincy and all over the tri-state area.
I'm not doing my job if I don't ask you. You were at the heart of the craziness with the COVID-19 scare when everything shut down. Literally, you were right at the heart and the epicenter of this. What was that like, Will?
So Wednesday was the first night of the Big East tournament that Wednesday, and we had a game. We were the first game of the Big East tournament, so we were on the bus in Manhattan heading to the arena, and everyone's phones start blowing up. And we saw that the NCAA President Emmert was not going to allow fans at the tournament. So that was kind of a distraction on the bus. Everyone was talking about it. Normally the bus is quiet as can be. And so that got the chatter going. And then we got to the game, played really well that night, beat Georgetown. We got back to the hotel, and, we were already starting to prep for Creighton, but the TV was on, obviously, and the Rudy Gobert news broke, and things started to unravel from there. And I kind of felt like we were on borrowed time. I wasn't sure if we were going to play. We had a noon game scheduled for Thursday, and so we woke up Thursday morning real early, did our pregame meal, pregame scout, and we were heading over to the Garden, and games were just being canceled left and right. It was bizarre. We had to drive through Times Square, and it looked like a ghost town. And it was just a really odd feeling. They had restricted attendance, which that was kind of unique. My dad was actually in attendance. He was one of the 150 proud St. John's fans. But we got to the arena, and we actually got our game started, and I couldn't believe we were even able to get the ball tipped up. But we went and we played till halftime, and then they canceled it. And then after that, it just became, how do we, get our players situated? And, because there was just so much uncertainty at the time.
It sounds crazy, and again, not just with the basketball culture, but you're there as the town is starting to shut down, and you touched on that. That's not a city that people envision, as you touched on, being a ghost town. How weird was just that whole dynamic? And I know you're not there now. Let everybody know kind of that you got out and that you're away.
Yeah, I left the Saturday before Selection Sunday, so our season ended on that Thursday, and we had obviously aspirations of playing in the postseason, but we got word pretty quickly that the season was going to be complete. It was over, and New York at the time was just starting to shut down, and there were all these rumors going around, as I'm sure you're aware of, a shutdown. And so I didn't want to be trapped in New York with nowhere to go and being away from my family. So I got a rental car and did the 20-hour drive to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm with my in-laws right now. So it was just a lot of uncertainty that the basketball part took kind of a backseat to your picture of what was going on in New York and around the country.
You're a basketball guy, you always have been, and this job has afforded you access to just an enormous wealth of basketball knowledge. I mean, I assume you've got a chance to kind of sit down and pick Lou Carnesecca's mind a little bit. Is that opportunity availed itself to you at all?
Coach Carnesecca comes around a lot. He's pretty spry for his age, and he's up to our team sometimes. It's really, I mean, when he walks in, he's got such presence. I was a little intimidated when I first met him, but we shared the same birthday. Not that that's on his radar, but no, he's very present, and he's really proud of what he's accomplished, and he's also, he's very involved with St. John's, and our players look up to him as well. They kind of know what he accomplished as well.
From the standpoint, Will, and I'll leave you with Dylan, what are you proudest of? What have you most enjoyed in this journey? And looking back, what surprised you the most that you've been able to make this trajectory work from McComb, Illinois? Because you dreamed really dreams, and you come from not the biggest corner of the world, and to make some of these come true. What's the biggest key to some young man or young woman sitting out there who wants to get into coaching but is intimidated by the structure of it all?
Yeah, I would just say that there's no blueprint, for the path you have to take, and so I found value in being a manager. I learned to be an unbelievable problem solver. Just the things that are thrown at you as being a manager. I really took pride in the grind that came with that. But I was told, after I was a manager, I had to find myself, what made me valuable. And so I found that, cutting up film and being able to show film to the team was something that would give me some worth on a staff and make me somewhat invaluable. But there's really no blueprint to being in coaching. But like I said earlier, the most important thing is you have to be surrounded by good people. And I've been really fortunate. The staff that we were together for 13 years that was at Mizzou in Arkansas. Matt Zimmerman and Jeff Daniels and TJ Cleveland. Those guys are unbelievable men, and they're wonderful mentors. And those people will take you where you need to go. So as long as you are staying humble and really getting after it, the rest will take care of itself. And I'm proud to be from Macomb. And I sent a tweet out earlier this year. I kind of had a epiphany or a wow moment. It was right before the Big East tournament, and we play several games in the Garden a year. But I'd always grown up watching the Big East tournament on TV, and it's just I find it to be the premier college basketball conference. And so we were embarking on getting ready for the conference tournament. I just took a step back and I was like, wow, the Garden it's been a dream of mine to be at the Garden, and the whole city of Macomb could actually fit into the Garden. So that was just one of those wow moments for me. And I'm just really thankful for Coach Anderson to give me the opportunity.
Will, phenomenal job. Thank you so much for your time again. Tight at 6 and 10 o'clock. Thank you, good sir. Stay safe.
Chris, I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate you on your 25 years at KHQA. You were my graduating year was the first year you did the Do or Die Bowl. Not that I participated in that, but I do want to thank you. You've made a big difference in a lot of people's lives in the tri-state. There are a lot of people who tune in to see their name on KHQA or to get the happenings on the sports world in that tri-state area. And you could always count on seeing you at a basketball or baseball or soccer or track or Scholastic Bowl. You were everywhere, and you've done a great job, and I'm very thankful that I got to grow up watching you on TV.
You are, my friend. Thank you so much. That means a ton coming from you, Will. Good, my friend. And again, stay safe. Yeah, I appreciate it.